on the hook, and I remember this clearly, the 16 bars on verses, and you know, just kind of fixing like, okay, because I don't know which one. You're a customer, it's my thing. Both of them was long records. I don't know which one was longer, but they were long records. They were just rapping, you know. And I feel one of the things that I really remember is sticking to the structure, sticking to making sure those 8 bars, those 16 bars, you know, on your choruses and verses. So
Definitely had some classic videos. You're a youngster. What was it like making videos for this album? I mean, I really remember you. Was that 2 ice pillars you were cutting on in the, what was going on in your mind as a youngster making these videos for a classic album?
hey, you know, what's funny is that you don't even realize how fortunate you are in those moments. It's almost like you're owed it at that age. Like, oh yeah, of course I'm doing this. What are you talking about? You know? But you know, you start really realizing how fortunate when you look at people who are really struggling. You know how you're saying, did I audition? I never did none of that for nobody. And I worked with so many just on my rep and my body of work. So it's pretty interesting to think back and be like, man, how lucky you are, you know?
When the album dropped the summer of '88, what was that reaction like? Can you remember when that album hit?
We were on tour. So we actually, you know, one thing about tour that people don't realize is that when you up and running, you don't really see what's happening. Now, the what's happening is at home. So how your friends react and how the cars bumping on your strip, like when you see that, that's when it hits home. But when you're on tour, you see it happening out there, but you don't realize, you know, and everything is kind of about where you are right now. So you almost feel like that same thing is not happening at home, or you never even think about it, you know. The thing about touring is that it's the here and now. So when you are not home, you come home to something and you're like, yo, are you kidding me? So it's even bigger there because you are from there. So it's just like a parade and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. I remember, I'll say a story just to make you understand what I mean. I was in California and I heard plug one, plug two. I was like, whoa, answering any of his service. And I was like, wait, these kids out here are crazy. And I was in LA. So then I come home and I was telling my boys about plug one, plug two that I heard out there. And they were like, yo, they from Amityville, which is a few towns over. So I was like, what? So it's, you're just where you are. You think this is what's happening, you know?
Right.
That's touring. Touring can throw you off like that. But big impact, EPMD in Brentwood, huge. Nothing else like it. Nothing else like it.
In '89, I was a 15-year-old kid. My parents took me to my first concert. EPMD, Biz Markie, Rob Bass, DJ Z Rock, EU. Were you at that tour? Do you remember that?
Wait. So when was it? '89? No.
No.
So I worked with EPMD '88. We did that summer 40 city tour. Then the fall hit, and then I left EPMD before '89.
Okay.
So it was '88 that it started and ended for me.
Let's get into some of those tour memories. What's your best tour lineup with EPMD, and give us a great memory during that time?
Wow. Well, the Run's House tour was everything. I'll take you there. So one, I would watch Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince every night. I actually watched everybody every night on that tour. I knew word for word. Most of the tours that I've ever been on, I really, really watched shows, reactions, timing, who had it, who didn't, you know. I say Fresh Prince because he just really had that gift, not to mention that Jeff had that gift, you know. And it just was phenomenal to me. But then the energy of Public Enemy. So wait, let me say who was on the tour. Run's House tour was, of course, Run DMC, EPMD, Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince, Stetson Sonic, JJ Fad, Public Enemy, I said, who am I missing? Am I missing somebody? Oh my God, yo, please. EPMD. No, I think that's it. And then, oh, I know what happened. When we hit like the southern market, like when we were over in that region, I had never heard 4our5ive Crew. I remember this. I got to think back if they had a song or two out that I did know, but I didn't know what was good. They would say 4our5ive Crew is on for this leg, and I was like, okay. So I was like, I got to sit and see what this 4our5ive Crew thing is, and all of a sudden, Luke would be like, "Hey!" and the crowd going, hey, hey, and more. They come running out, whipping towels. And I was like, what is going on? I never heard none of that. Oh, LL Cool J was on the tour with us, but he didn't perform. He was just like riding with the tour. And he was cool. You know, and JMJ, just watching them, man, the timing on those guys, it was insane. You know, you know a memory? I'll tell you a memory. They were doing the "Don't Do Drugs" campaign, you know. So during their set, they would always really try to promote the kids and tell the kids to not do drugs. So Run DMC would be on stage with about 9 or 10 brothers, maybe more, crates of 40 ounces, and they would literally listen. I watched every show. They would crack one open and throw them to each other, and nobody dropped. They dropped, you know, it would spill, but they never dropped the bottle.
Right.
They catch it in one hand, bang. So at one point, like, I would watch the show, and it was funny to me because, you know, DMC would be like, "Don't do drugs." So it's like the message is don't do drugs, but you can drink all you want. And it was just kind of funny to me. I always used to watch that and be like, that is hysterical. But yeah, good times, man. Good times. We had fun. I still have from an old camera, I still have pictures, little square pictures of that tour and just everything, man. It was so much fun. It was very, very, very dope.
Oh. Like I said, that album dropped the summer of '88. What do you think it was about that album that separated itself from the likes of NWA, Big Daddy Kane, all the classic albums? What was it about that album you think that separated itself from the rest?
Just a unique sound. People would say that Eric sounded like Rakim. It was just really the laid back of it, but he didn't sound anything like Rakim to me at all, ever. You know, just the unique sound. People used to say to E that, you know, he needs to fix his speech and this and that. I was like, that's what makes him. Are you kidding me? Like, shut up. Like, people don't realize that when you have a unique sound and you kicking the right stuff, you flowing right, yo, leave it alone. Leave it alone, you know? I had an artist that I was trying to work with back in the day, and he had this almost like a horse to his voice that was just so dope. And then he spit fire. So he was from Chicago. He was quick, but he got into an accident, and then it just made the sound change, and it was like, oh, we lost it. So I say this to say, you know, a lot of artists that we like right now, Kendrick Lamar, and, you know, you hear their voice, and it's just something about their voice that makes it work, you know. So, and eventually people did not hear Rakim in Eric Sermon. I mean, we don't hear it at all now, you know, but there was an argument about that. So it's crazy.
Right. Sounds like you was riding high with EPMD. How did life change for you, and at what point did you decide to leave EPMD? What particularly happened?
Well, it was little kid stuff in a sense. You know, I had my crew, my boys that I had chilled with. So like EPMD they weren't guys that I chilled with in school. So when I was touring, you know, I was like, oh, these are my boys, we good. So we out here, you know. So a situation had happened with my girlfriend at the time was talking to one, or dating or screwing or whatever the story is, one of E's boys. And E didn't say nothing to me. So while I was on tour, they knew this. So now this is nothing against E now. Me and E are cool, and it's stupid. It's like water under the bridge right now. But Steezo was the one to tell me. So I got a cat from Connecticut who was going to tell me that So that's where I was a little, But honestly, I'll be honest with you, dumb move, dumb relationship. Everything about the whole thing was just kind of silly for me to just be like, I'm out. But at the same time, too, then a lot of other things wouldn't have happened for me if I didn't bounce. So there was never no beef, no problems. I just really, I don't know. People who know me know that I'm out. Like that's how I get down. So if something don't feel right or I'm out. But like I said, he was living his life. We weren't boys like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. And I can't blame E. Somebody else could have said something, but Steezo was the one who was like, "Yo, homie, I'm gonna let you know what's real." And that's why I missed the dude, B, because he was real. Not that E and P ain't real. They're real. There's a lot of situations that me and Eric and Parrish were great with, but that was something that was like kind of funny to me. So I bounced. I mean, it is what it is. I'll say this, after I was seeking something else. So I was like, okay. So back in the day, there was a artist, a singer named Champ. So Champ was a singer from Chicago who moved to New York for a little while. He wasn't staying. And I met Solo in a studio. There was a friend of mine who I went to school with. His father owned a record label. They were trying to get something going. So I ended up talking to him and Solo, and we were going to make a crew. So we were working on songs, and then Solo got into a fight. I wasn't there for it, and went to jail. So that was the end of that. Then I ended up working with EPMD. So that happened before EPMD. Then after I was not with EPMD, Solo came home, the fugitive, the fugitive beat, where he hit the dude with the brick, the whole thing. That happened for real. So he went to jail for that, assault with a brick. And when he got out of jail, then we got back up. So we started doing songs. We did like 3 songs. We did a freestyle with the SWAT beat. We did Tales from the Crack Side, and we did Spellbound. And then he ended up showing the tapes to Eric and Parrish, and then he jumped on with them. So I was like, okay, next move. It's all good. So, and then next move was Craig Mack. So I just kept grinding. It was all good. And it's all good with all these dudes. No beef, no problems, no stress. It was just no big deal at all. We could go have a drink. I don't drink, but I'll take a Sprite. It's real.
No doubt. Loving how the timeline is moving. My next question was Craig Mack. Craig Mack was an integral part of your history. It goes way back, even before he was signed to Bad Boy. Can you tell us how you met Craig Mack and what eventually came about with that situation?
Well, Craig, I went to school with Craig. Craig was younger than me. And he used to beat, either he or other people would, make a beat on the desk. You know how we do it in the lunchroom. And Craig would rap. And I'd be like, yo, you're nice, B. And, we just always went back and forth. So I don't remember. It might have been a situation like at a store or just bumped into Craig. And I was like, yo, what are you doing now? You still rhyming? And he started rhyming. So we started talking about, let's do this, this, and this. We went in Charlie Murata's studio. We started doing some joints. He went on tour with EPMD to help them, like a roadie-ish kind of situation. And Alvin either heard some of the tapes or heard him rap. I don't remember what it was, but Alvin Toney. And so Alvin Toney, now, the story with Alvin Toney and this was he was security. And this is what I heard. I was not there. But there was a situation with Heavy D, and he had a song, You Can See What I Can See, You're Blind, Baby. So that song had a line in it that, from what I hear, was like Gangsta Killer or whatever he said. That song was the anthem of some guys in upstate New York They were a gang called the Gangsta Killers.